choices you made, did you make them again, 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 again? All the lies that you told, did you believe in them? All the choices you made, did you make?
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing 3 looks with the Kylie Jenner Under the Sea palette for summer 2019. I have never used a Kylie eyeshadow before. I know that that's kind of crazy because I feel like I've used like every eyeshadow under the sun, and yeah, a couple of you guys have been asking me what I think of Kylie products, and you know what? I didn't have an answer for you because I haven't tried them in a really long time. The only thing I ever tried was a couple of the lip kits when they first launched, and I wasn't that crazy about them. I liked the lip liner, but I wasn't that crazy about the actual liquid lipstick itself, and I just kind of never went back. But today we're going to find out, what are my thoughts? What do I think? What do I feel? What can we do? As always, I will link each of the looks down below so that way if you have a specific one that you'd like to see how I did, you can jump right to that. I will also be doing like a little bit of a review, my thoughts on the palette at the end of the video, and I will leave a timestamp for that as well. All of the products that I use on the whole face in the entire video will be listed in the description down below as well as the information on the next book club video, what we're going to be reading up to and all of that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we have a book club here on this channel. It's a really good time, and I'm gonna link everything down below in case you want to join in on that. You should, it's fun. The 3 looks that I'm going to be doing today are going to be on the more simple side. I really wanted to keep these looks like fresh for summer, also kind of like in the Kylie Jenner makeup style, because I really do admire the way her makeup artist, I believe it's Makeup by Ariel who does her makeup all the time. Maybe not all the time, but he does it very often. I admire the way he manages to take very simple, clean, flattering looks and make them interesting. So I'm probably not gonna do as good a job as he does, but I'm gonna try to keep that theme in these looks today. Please go ahead and leave a like on this video if you don't mind taking a second to do that, because it helps me out and I always appreciate it. And if you are new here, and by new I mean, you know, you've watched a video or two and you just haven't decided that you want me around all the time yet, please go ahead and subscribe, because if you don't, quite frankly, I'm gonna judge you. Judge Judy. Judge Judy the Executioner. If you know what that quote is from, we can be best friends, honestly. I think that's all we need to get out of the way before we get started, so let's just jump right in to look number 1 with the Kylie Jenner, I forgot the name of this palette, Under the Sea, like the Little Mermaid, the Under the Sea palette from the summer 2019 collection. Oh, and I'm also trying one for lip blushes if you were curious about that. That'll be in the first look. Okay, let's just roll into it. So this is the inside of the palette, what we'll be working with today. There are some shades that are regular pressed powder eyeshadows and others that are pressed glitters. I'm gonna be using a mix of both, obviously. I'm gonna grab my BH number 6 very stained brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Welcome Board. I'm gonna use that right in the crease area. I'm gonna start blending that out toward my brow. That applies and blends nicely so far. Okay, Miss Kylie. I'm gonna pick up this very stained Sigma E36 brush. My brushes are so stained right now. They need to be deep cleaned so bad. And I'm gonna go into the shade My Treasure. I'm gonna pop that through the deeper portion of the crease area. Just add a little bit of shadow and definition there. Next, I'm going to go into the shade Be Pacific on a Real Techniques shading brush. I am going to try it dry first, since we are, well, I mean, I am completely unfamiliar with the Kylie formula, and then if I need to go in with it wet, I'll do that afterward. Do they perform on their own, or do they need the Fix Plus? Completely dry, and that's really potent and stunning. Like, for real? I'm gonna pick up that same Sigma E06 brush and go through the crease again with that same shade just to blend those together. Wow, so far these are really good. Why didn't you guys tell me these were so good? What? Who did nobody told me? On my ring finger, I'm gonna go into one of the pressed glitter shades here called Can I Help You? I'm gonna get up close so you guys can see what that looks like. Obviously, these glittery type things never really show up as good on camera as they are IRL, but I hope you can see it's very interesting and like multi-reflective and like, I don't know, like an interesting combination of yellow and other colors. I'm excited. So I'm picking up a little bit of it on my ring finger. I'm just gonna tap it right in the center of the lid. And I'm gonna go back in with the same brush that we used earlier and just soften the edges of that and make sure that glitter moves into the green in like a nice, like dispersed way with a gradient. For the waterline, I want to make it nice and kind of complementary to the eye look itself. I feel like leaning into that like sea glass green shade, it's gonna really pay off in the end. So I'm gonna go through the waterline with Electric Empire pencil from Urban Decay. And I'm letting that kind of get between my lower lashes as well. And I'm gonna smudge that in. It will create kind of like a deeper base for the colors to go over. You don't really have to do that, but I feel like it'll add a little bit more depth to this look. Make the end result like a little bit more finished and polished. I'm just lightly tapping through that with the NABLA liner and brows brush, which I always wind up using for neither my liner nor my brows. I'm gonna grab that BH number 6 brush again. I'm gonna go into Welcome Aboard that we started with, and I'm gonna blend that pretty low underneath the lower lash line. I'm not bringing that quite up to where we put down that liner pencil, just kind of surrounding it and just hooking it around up into the top to give the other shadows we're gonna put down something to sit on top of. I'm bringing this down like obnoxiously low, but it's a really subtle shade and I feel like it'll give just a more sultry appearance overall. I'm gonna pick up that same Real Techniques brush and back into Be Pacific, and I'm gonna buff that underneath the lower lash line right over where we put down that pencil. Picking up that BH number 6 again and just blending the edge of that. On a LUXE 141 mini brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Sea Pearl, which is just this champagne reflective shade up here, shimmer, but not a pressed glitter. I'm just gonna pop that right on the inner corner just to bring a tiny bit of light to it. I added House of Lashes Iconic Light and I finished up my skin. Just an observation, I am noticing there's not any creasing happening because of the pressed glitter, but the pressed glitter is transferring up a little higher than I initially put it down. I also picked up one of the new lip products from the KYLIE Summer Collection. This is the lip blush, and I picked up the shade Bikini Bod, so I'm gonna wear that with this look today. I don't know how it's gonna apply yet, so I'm gonna attempt to do it without a liner. If I need to add a liner, I will. For reference, this is what the shade looks like. And this is the first look. For look 2, I want to do something that I've seen KYLIE's makeup artist do something similar on her before. I noticed that they do like really flattering shapes with a lot of pops of color on her. And that's one of the things that I would like to do today. I want to be flattered. I want to pop a color. So I'm gonna pick up my BH number 6 again, and I'm gonna go into this more coral nude here called Sure About You. And I'm gonna put that through the crease, bring it up pretty high. I really should have washed my brushes before recording this video. I just On a MAC 221S brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Welcome Aboard again. I'm gonna put that through the more concentrated crease area. Picking up that little Real Techniques brush again, I'm gonna go into the shade Salty Sweet, and I'm gonna put that over my whole lid. I wanna create a pop of color in this look. I'm gonna pick up the Suva Beauty Hydro Liner in the color Acid Trip, which is this neon orange. These are water activated, so I'm gonna spray a little bit of Fix Plus into it, and I'm gonna use a nail art brush to create the line. This is one of my favorite things to use for like a cake liner like this. And I'm gonna create a pretty elongated wing with this color. For the waterline, I want a corally orange. I don't have a corally orange eyeliner, so I'm gonna use a lip liner. And you shouldn't do that. You should use an eyeliner, but I'm gonna use a lip liner. But you shouldn't use a lip liner, but I'm gonna use a lip liner. So don't do what I'm gonna do, but also it does work, but also it could stain And also, if you have already put it on your mouth, you could give yourself like a sty or something. So don't do what I'm gonna do, but it's gonna look good, but don't do it. The color that I'm gonna be using is Smith's from Kat Von D. I'm just gonna run that through the waterline. And I'm bringing a little of that through the lower lashes again. Next, I'm gonna pick up a LUXE 111 mini brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Abandoned Ship, and I'm gonna run that underneath the lower lash line. Actually, that's the wrong brush to use for that. That just like flicked a bunch of eyeshadow right into my eye. So I'm gonna switch to a pencil brush, sweeping that all the way under the eye, right into the inner corner. Next, I'm gonna go into the shade Seashell Kisses. This is one of the glitter shades in the palette, but I'm gonna try using it on a pencil brush because I wanna put it in my inner corner. And my nails are far too long to try to push something into my inner corner with my finger. Oh, that actually seems to be working nicely. I used the House of Lashes Iconic Lights again. I finished my skin, or rather just kind of touched up my skin because my skin was already done from the last look, but I just redid my concealer, added a couple more little freckles to like, you know, blend the nose back together. And I added some blush. I used this shade here from the High Score blush palette from the Wet n Wild PACMAN collection. I also added a little bit of that to the tip of my nose. I like doing that sometimes. Feels fresh and rosy and pretty. I noticed that I lost a lot of that coral shade in blending, so what I did was I went back in with it wet, put on like a nice layer of it, waited for that to dry down, and then blended the edge again, and it gave me a little bit more intensity. And now I'm gonna add a lip. So I wanna do a whole full-on corally apricot-y kind of a situation here. So I'm gonna use the same liner that I used in my waterline for its intended purpose as a lip liner. I'm going to scrape off the top layer of it to make sure it's not contaminated first on a piece of paper towel. I'm gonna line my lips with that and just kind of blend it toward the center, and then I'm gonna go over the top of that with the e.l.f. JELLYPOP Juicy Gloss in the shade Apricot. And this is look number 2. All right, look number 3. First of all, before we even get started, I would like to go on record that that pencil did indeed stain the crap out of my waterline. So there you go. I'm gonna pick up a BH number 5 brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Hook You In, which is like a peach, light peach. This is gonna be like barely even there. I'm gonna place that right around the crease area. I'm gonna bring that all the way up, almost to the brow. On my MAC 221S brush, I'm gonna go into the shade My Treasure. Use that through the crease. I really like this shade because it's kind of like a perfect eye contour shade, which is handy dandy to include in a look when you wanna add just more depth, but you don't want it to be something like that calls attention to itself, if that makes sense. Either a murderer just knocked on my back window, or my refrigerator made ice, and I don't know which one it is. Hello? I'm gonna pick up a NABLA Soft Dab and Smudge brush. I'm gonna go back to Hook You In for a second. I'm gonna dab that across the bottom portion of my lid because it's kind of perfect background shade. I'm living for that. So I'm gonna create a thick ombre wing with gel liners, and then I'm gonna go over those wings with shadows from this palette. I use the Kat Von D SUPERBROW pomades. These are not gel liners, but they function as some of my favorite gel liners. And because the wing I'm doing is thick, I'm not gonna use a tiny little brush. I'm gonna use this Bobbi Brown Ultra Fine Liner brush. This is called an Ultra Fine Liner brush, and I quite frankly don't know why, because as far as liner brushes are concerned, it's pretty fat and chunky. So I brought the purple about halfway in, like right lined up with my pupil, and now I'm gonna transfer over to the green and start ombreing it in there. If the ombre part of it, you know, the little transition between purple and green isn't perfect, don't sweat it because we're going over it with shadow anyway. We're gonna have lots of chances to make this better. All right, so that's what the base looks like on this eye. Here's the little catch though. On the other eye, I'm gonna do it the opposite way. So I'm gonna do green on the outside and purple on the inside. Why? Because I feel like it. You know what? If you don't feel like it, you could do it the same on both eyes. But I'm gonna do it different because I feel like it. And that's what we do here. We do what we feel like. I cleaned that brush off and I'm gonna go over the green parts of that liner with the shade Be Pacific. And as you get to the edge of the line, instead of packing the shade down, you kind of want to do like a little bit of a blending motion. I don't want to completely soften out the edges of this liner, but it gives it like a little bit of a smoother finish if you kind of do one of those. All right, I'm just gonna wipe that brush off, still using the same Bobbi Brown brush. I'm gonna go into Mermaid Mama, which is this purple shade down here, just for the record, because we are using this over a darker base. This is what Mermaid Mama looks like on its own. It's a lot lighter, but it has like a cool little bluish reflectiveness to it. It's a good shade, it's lovely. But that little blueness really makes it like super bomb over a darker base, which is why I wanted to do it this way. You see how the purple looks kind of like almost like a blue reflective when you layer it over the green? When you do it the other way around, you don't get that effect and it doesn't transition as smoothly. You know, for this next step, I might be breaking out my Jenna Marbles too much gene, but maybe not. Maybe this will be what makes this look. I'm gonna take these two White Lies liquid shadows from Stila in the shade Lilac Legend, and what's the other one? Mint Myth, and respectively put them on the inside portion. So I'm gonna put Mint Myth over the inner portion on the green and Lilac Legend on the inner portion over the purple, just to give it like a little metallic pop right there. Okay, but that green is everything though. I concealed underneath my eyes, and with that I made sure I cleaned up the bottom portion of that wing because we want these to be nice and sharp. And I want to add soft definition to the lower lash line. I want it to look like almost nothing there, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go into the shade Welcome Board on a soft fluffy brush. This is a LUXE 121, and I'm just gonna drag that very lightly underneath the lower lashes. I kind of feel like I could have gone even bigger with these wings. I know some of you are gonna think I'm crazy because I usually take my wings like super big, and you guys are like, I've never seen a wing so big in my life. Sometimes I get scared at how big your wings are and then you prove me wrong. And this time I still feel like I could have gone bigger. Honestly, I'm just wearing this to Trader Joe's today, so it's big enough for now. And I do want the waterline to be bright and open and clean as well. So I'm gonna grab my Tarte Fake Awake pencil. Any nude pencil that you have and you like will do the trick. And for the inner corner, I'm gonna go back to that shade Sea Pearl again because it was a very nice, subtle, creamy shimmer. And I'm gonna take that on an e.l.f. pencil brush. I'm just gonna pop that right on my inner corner and then drag it slightly onto the lower lash line, being very like subtle and light-handed with it though, because I just literally want this to wake my eyes up. I don't want it to like add anything to the look really. A little fruit fly literally just landed on my face. Ugh, do I look like a fucking banana? Get out of here. With that done, I'm just gonna go add some mascara and lashes, and then we can carry on and add a lip to this last final Kylie look. Okay, I finished up my skin with the same products I used earlier, and it is time to add a lip, my friends. Why so dramatic? I don't know. I had a lot of coffee this morning to keep that train going. For the lip, I want it to be a warm, like I always say, juicy nude. And this time I want it to be a little bit warm because we have mostly cool tones on the eyes, and I find that just in general when I have like a more, not that this is minimalistic, but it's like a pretty clean look. Personally, when I have something like that going on, I always find it more flattering to gravitate toward a warmer nude just for my skin tone. You can kind of switch that out to complement your personal skin tone however you see fit. And I'm also picking like a comfortable, easy nude sort of a lip today because I have to go run errands and meal prep for the week. And I don't want to be wearing something like a tight liquid lipstick. So I'm going to start with a rosy nude pencil. This is Rosy Magnolia from NABLA, one of my favorites lately. And I'm going to use one of my favorite glosses. I love these glosses so much. Like, I really wish I could explain to you how much I love these glosses, but the words escape me, okay? That's how much I love them. This is one of the Bite Beauty French press glosses. These smell like coffee. Yeah, I know. They're super glossy and they're very comfortable. And this is the shade Salted Caramel. And this little number right here is the third look. All right, time for some final thoughts. I'm really impressed, to be honest. I know that there's like a little bit of a rumor that Kylie products are basically just ColourPop products in different packaging, and I don't know whether that's true or not, but I can tell you that the shadows definitely seem of a similar quality and a similar texture to ColourPop, and the lip blush is pretty much completely identical to the ColourPop Ultra Blotted Lip. I actually do like the way this looks, but like most ColourPop lip products and like the Kylie lip products that I've tried in the past, it is very, very drying. So if you're not a fan of a very dry feeling liquid lip, you're probably not going to love this. This one in particular, because it is a lip blush or similar to the Ultra Blotted lips, it is a little lighter on the lips than a very dry liquid lipstick, but it still has that kind of like tightness to it and you definitely feel it there. It did look very pretty though, and I wore it for quite a while yesterday and it wore very well. So on first impression, the first thing I thought of the palette is that it's a lot smaller than I was expecting it to be. It is a 12 shade palette, but the actual like size of the palette itself is quite small, but that kind of is a good thing. I like the minimalist kind of theme that she's got going on with her packaging. I like the simplicity, I like the color, I think the packaging is effective. I like that the names are listed on both the back and on the inside of the palette. And now as far as the formulas themselves, these are straight fire. Personally, I think that they're absolutely beautiful. They blend really, really well. I think that this palette in general is very well thought out, but I think that if I were to choose the shades that went into this palette, I might switch out a couple. Like Sure About You is a really nice shade, but I don't think it's necessary in this palette. The other neutrals in here are literally perfection to go along with the shades that are in here. But if I were gonna make this palette, I would replace Sure About You with a nice deep rich brown or a black shade. That way, if you wanted to have like a little bit of a more enhanced, heavier nighttime look with this, you had that option as well. I understand that this is more of like a summery, beachy vibe, so I get why they didn't put something like that in there. It's just a matter of personal preference for me. I think that the pressed glitters are some of the nicest ones I've used. They do transfer a little bit, but they didn't see any creasing, which is big because a lot of times those pressed glitters make your makeup crease very quickly. And the shimmers are really, really nice. The shade Be Pacific, this green shade here, stunning. It looks like sea glass on your eyes. I love this shade. The only one that I kind of had a little, not even a complaint about, but I was a little bit disappointed in because it was a little bit lackluster, is the coral shade Abandoned Ship. It looks really nice when you first put it on, but once you blend it, it just kind of becomes, it doesn't like pop anymore. I think that it could have used a little bit more brightness or richness to the shade to like really make it translate well on the eyes, because I feel like it just kind of gets lost in the sauce once you put it on. I could definitely see myself keeping an eye on the new Kylie palette launches for 3 Looks videos in the future because this was a delight to work with. Please let me know in a comment down below. Have you tried Kylie eyeshadows? Do you like them? Do you want me to keep making videos on them as she launches new releases? What are your thoughts? I would love to know. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video if you don't mind taking a moment to do that, because it helps me out in a big way and I would really appreciate it. And also, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe because I would love to have you around for more videos. If you want to keep up with me between videos, see behind the scenes, PR unboxings, vote on things that go on here on this channel, as well as see my more creative makeup looks that look like this and this and this, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'm at Miss Quinn Face over there and I would love to have you. I think that's all for today. I'm literally out of breath from talking too much. I gotta shut up. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one.